Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Food for Thought. Today I have no stranger with me, someone who everybody knows in the community, not just in Australia, but in New Zealand and across Asia. And that is Parul Mehta, who is the founder of Indian Matrimonial. Welcome to the channel, Parul Auntie.
Thank you.
Well, I call you
Thank you,
Parul ji,
sir.
but I know a lot of them say Parul Auntie. So I just thought maybe I'll
Yes.
try that today.
Nah, nah, nah. I think a lot of credit goes to Seema Auntie from, the Netflix series. That's why I've got that prefix as an auntie as well. And a lot of my clients call me auntie too. And I love being called auntie. So you are right, Uttara. Glad to be called as auntie. So thank
Great.
you very much, Uttara, for this opportunity.
Great. Thank you,
Yeah.
Parulji, once again. And you've been on my channel before, and it's always great to have you back. I love that positive aura that you spread across people. And I think this is the right, I think that is one of the reasons people come to you in spite of this very, I would say, very strange feeling people go through when they're just going through this matrimony search, right? It's very complex these days. It's very tough to decide, am I meeting the right partner? But I think when we meet you, or when the community and everybody meets you, they understand how comfortable it is to talk to you and express their, ups and downs, what they're going through. So thanks for being there. And if you could just tell us more about what Indian matrimonial is all about.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Uttara, again. Indian matrimonial is matchmaking, like a personalized, exclusive kind of a very private matchmaking service that I provide for people, kids of Indian background, South Asian Indian background, living in Australia. So somebody who is living in Australia for a while, they have the legit job, legit PR citizen kind of a visa, and they want to get married. It's our traditional system. Of course they can go and date, and they can get to know the girl and everything. I insist on that system. But at the end goal is marriage. It's not like aimless dating kind of a scenario. And people who want to respect each other's relationship with them. So I provide that services for them. I am the matchmaker. So I hold the collection of data across Australia, New Zealand, and sometimes from Singapore. Now I've started getting a lot of requests from USA, London, Singapore, everywhere. So I hold the data and I try and analyze what parents are looking for, what kids are looking for. I become the bond, like in two way, not connecting two families, but also connecting the family within themselves. So the candidate themselves, the parents, they all streamline their thoughts and expectation versus reality, and also on the other side, like both the family, and match them, and happy they go.
Great. And it's interesting, Parulji, that you mentioned that in terms of connecting families with families, right? Recently, I was going through a podcast and I heard, the guests say there, marriages were made in heaven, but these days it's made on earth, come to reality, right? So it's a lot of
I
mental taxing. It's a lot of thought process goes in that. And many times, even in the earlier generation and the generation now, parents themselves don't understand what do their kids want, when it comes to marriage. So, how do you manage to handle this complex situation, and what kind of scenarios do you face? What's the mindset that you come across these days?
Okay. So, first of all, yes, marriages are made in heaven. I also rephrase that sentence and tell everybody marriages are made on earth with the help of like minded people, with the blessings of elders, and on the guidance of Almighty God. So, yes, it is made in heaven. Unless the approval of the God, nothing happens. But you do need blessings and advice from your elderlies and well wishers, and you do need the hard work of the people who are on the ground reality. So that's how it goes nowadays. Especially what happens here, typically in Australia, where most of the people are first generation migrant. I give a scenario of myself. So I would have typically raised in India with an Indian kind of outlook and the mindset, got married there, my kids are raised here. So now our generation as a parent have a bigger role in making sure that we sing the song our kids want to listen, kind of a story. So we cannot stick only to the agenda that was appropriate 30, 40 years back in India. We have to be a little bit more current. It is lot of pressure on your mental, kind of a acceptability, that you are swaying away from your, traditional belief that what you could have thought is the right thing for your kid. So that is from the parent side of you. It also from the kids who are always juggling for their, struggling to for the identity. When it comes to schooling and everything, they are happy to be merging with the Australian mainstream. Coming to the marriage, their core is still very Indian. They believe in the institution of Indian marriages, and they've seen the stability that Indian families and Indian, parents bring into the kids life when they compare to the, obviously there are
Right.
exceptions everywhere,
Right.
but overall, the parents who have a very strong bonding, their kids grow up with the security that the marriage is a good thing. So, but to come out, in a lot of area where they don't want to displease their parent, but they don't want to tell them why, say for example, sticking to their own caste or community is not what they're looking for. What they're looking for, maybe emotional, bonding, intellectual growth together, or maybe, the timeline. A lot
Right.
of thing matters a lot nowadays. Before it was like, the family name, if you know the father or the grandfather, and if you know that the kid belonged to that family, that was more than enough. The long distance didn't matter. A lot of other thing, personal attributes did not matter. Nowadays, every small detail matters. It is very important in that scenario that everybody is on the same page. And then, progressively they get that time to get to know each other, the strength and the weaknesses of the individual, but as a unit, as a couple. What is as a couple strength, what is their weaknesses, how to fix if everything, if something had to go wrong, say after marriage, how do they have the ability to fix it. So all those things, once they have confidence, then the alliance gets formed.
Great, great. That's a lot of hard work that goes behind Parulji. So, um, one other thing, I know you work and support families to find, the right bride or the groom the first time. Now, you also work with couples who are single parents.
Oh yeah.
So apart from that, I know you're also been supporting them as a matrimony coach. With and I see that that has to do with a lot with the issues that we are facing right now. That's mental health that all of us are talking about, which is so important. Self care and mental health is important. So, could you brief us as to how you've been working and supporting them more from a matrimony coach perspective?
Uttara, a very good question. I'm glad you asked it. Matrimony coaching was not something I thought I will do. The way, matrimony also, I just bumped into it and I thought, let's, do it and do a good job. And here I am. And now I'm at the stage where I'm realizing that criteria for a lot of kids when they get married is physical attraction, and they don't know what require. It's marriage is never even 50-50. You know how a lot of people think, oh, everything is half and half. Marriage is never 50-50. It's always 40-60, 30-70. Sometimes somebody takes a little bit longer stretch in the housework or in the sacrifice, and other person then settles the career, and then it's other person takes a turn. It's
Right,
always been from generations. That maturity is lacking, resistance is lacking, and somehow we have made, so as a society we are facing a lot of divorces because we think it's okay to divorce people. So that fighter spirit in somebody, it has been, little bit declined.
yeah,
The law and everything has made it very easy to take divorce. So divorce is easy. They take it. In Australia, as you know, you live separately under different roof for 1 year, and you can easily file for the divorce, and it's done. Divorce is easy. What is hard is to sustain the relationship. And how, even if say divorce has happened, to then stabilize their mental health, to erase the scars and the trauma from the previous relationship, to make yourself prepared for what's up, learn from the mistakes that has happened, and not to follow the same trend. Like very basic thing, oh, like they always keep comparing to their past.
Correct.
Like, oh, my ex-wife was, she
Right.
was shopaholic and she blew up my budget. Now I want to make sure that the next person doesn't have that hobby as a shopping.
Right.
Very trivial thing. It's something that could have been dealt with either communication or a right coaching.
Right.
That part. So I saw the gap over there. I started telling, because they're good kids, they are career wise fantastic, they are good family, they genuinely want to get married, everything is right, but the mindset wasn't there, and lot of negativity because they probably didn't knew the healing was available. So the way a lot of commercialization have made divorce is very easy, I want to make this healing process very easy for people. It is not like you're going to a psychologist and you are crooked in your head. It is something the way you go to your GP for your yearly checkup for your body. You go
Right.
to a healer or a therapist or a coach or somebody to take every problem. Our
Right.
kids are very good having a workplace mentor. Everybody you ask in a corporate world, they all insist on you must have a mentor, so somebody is always keeping eye on you
Yeah,
and holding your
absolutely.
hand when you want it, and you have a go-to person. Marriage is no different. In the joint family system before, we always had our parents or uncles or aunts or cousins, so everybody together, so we never had a need for a mentor. I insist now that people should have a mentor to make sure they are going right path. They could be your best friends, they could be your siblings, they could be your parents, could be anybody. Sometimes I advise when I also advise. I'll take the opportunity to stretch my answer a little longer.
Sure.
I advise people to go through the subject matter expert in a professional world rather than being with their parents. What happens, knowing or unknowingly, say if a couple is fighting, the girl's parents and the girl's sibling will take girl's side, and boy's parents and the sibling will take their side. What happens is it causes the two people were fighting, now the whole family is fighting. They are like slowly tearing apart, not intentionally, but that what happens because we all are human, we all see pain of our own family
People
bit
or our
better than
loved
the
ones.
other
Yeah.
person. Yeah. So this is what happens. So I also now say that the way you go to your family, you take that as why you take it on board, but also go to somebody who doesn't know you so well and who has the ability to absorb your issues, analyze that for you, put it in a simple word and step by step remedial process. And they are stranger to you. So they are not going to have bias opinion, and they would have the experience in their own field. So I do a very basic matrimony coaching. I do it more also as a onboarding process. As I told you, the parents and the kids, everybody has to be aligned. I
Correct.
also do a few things while the process there. Very recently, one or two couple of mine who have been married from 1 2 year, and they have some teething issues into settling up the thing. Because I read one article the other day that 33% of the divorces happen between first and the third year. So I did I have around 25, 27 couple, in Australia that were married me. So I did a survey and I asked, okay, how is everybody going? And I got the answer some fantastically well, and somebody like, yeah, we have ups and down and something. So I said, yes, the statement is right. The 33% of the divorce could happen in the first and 3 years. Can we make it little lesser by the good coaching? Yes, we can. And that is the conscious effort. So the thing that I cannot provide or something that is out of my league, I'm consciously now developing a network of people that could be the mentor.
Perfect. Okay.
So some of my couples act as a mentor. So any new couple that is forming, I send them to look. They have been married 2 years before. Just go and talk to them how they divide their finances, or it is a very small thing that becomes a big one. How to divide
Yeah.
their finances? How do they manage? Going to the parents' home kind of a issue. How do they budget? Things like that. It's always the smaller thing. He doesn't like one of my friends, so he doesn't want to come to the party. Ask somebody else how they manage, and you manage. Similarly.
Right.
So I have my couples, but I also am actively looking for data of people I can refer my clients to and everything. So at the moment, yes, matrimony coach on a small scale, but in coming years, if I set things up right, it can become a very useful service for people.
Great, great. That sounds a lot of work again. As I said, the matrimony section itself is a lot of hard work and thinking and planning that goes in back end. But this is to add on to it, right? Because this is just not about matrimony. It's about the mental health of an individual, of the family, which is important, which is what we all are talking about right now. So Parulji, I think that's great because one people do complain about minute things at this point in life, but there are others who probably have more complex issues that people are handling, and we need to understand and support them and help them. And I see that I've known you for 2 years, but before that itself, you've been an active community member. You've been so selflessly helping people, but you extended that even further to the matrimony part of it. And being a matrimony coach is, though you've been a nice listener, which actually by itself heals people, but it's also about giving that unbiased feedback to them and also routing them to the appropriate people. Because I see, and what I understood from what you mentioned now and what I hear from you in the past when we spoke, was you kind of zero down on what could be the potential issues between the couple and route them to the right people who are trained and coached on it. So I think that's great. So thank you so much for that, Parulji. So what's the messaging that you'd like to give to the community?
Look, message is very simple. That marriage is definitely part of every society, part of everybody's life. When you are ready, you get married. Do not get married just because you think because everybody else is getting married, I should get married. You should be mentally, emotionally, intellectually, financially, physically ready. So do your own check first. If something is, like, say, your mental health is not right, you don't think you are ready for the marriage, talk to somebody at that point and get your facts right. A second message that I want to get is, be kind of aim for a loyal, lifelong marriages. Don't aim for a short, kind of a thing. Like sometimes people say, I want to get married, but auntie, it's okay. Even if it's for 5, 7 years, it works, I'm fine. And I'm like, are you kidding? Like, so people have accepted within themselves that sometimes marriages are not for lifelong, and it is like comes in a installment of decades. No, it doesn't
Right.
happen that way, or at least one shouldn't aim that way. So that is a clear message that I want to say. All this social media I see, benching and ghosting and breadcrumbing, and so they all could be there, available there, but people have to understand that that is just the social media noise of an influencer. They are chasing likes and followers because they get paid on the number of followers they have. That is their
Right.
way of earning. It doesn't mean that every second person on the planet is a pervert and they are sleeping with 10 people. It is not like that. The all this brothel and everything was there in our society from god knows, ever since the society was formed. But at the same time, there were legal marriages, and there are, even today, there are people who want to have just one partner, get married, have their own family and something. So it is all about what you manifest and what you get. Manifest the right thing and you'll get the right, kind of a match for yourself. And do not worry about too much noise that happens everywhere. Focus on the one partner relationship.
Wow, I see a lot of lovely messages there. One is obviously self-care and, understand what you as a person really want so that, and then manifest the right things the right way and you get it. Because what you want, what you believe is what is your strength and you want is what you get manifesting.
Yeah.
And, you
True.
manifest and you get. So that's great. And also reaching out to people when you need help, especially
Definitely.
unbiased people like who can give feedback like you and support us. So that's great. Thank you so much, Parulji. And I will be sharing your contact details on the description box below. But having said that, any last few lines or your details that you would want to share with people?
Nah, it's all good, Uttara. You do fantastic job by bringing people like myself on your platform, and I'm sure your viewers know how fantastic you work towards the mental health space in the community, and the way you bring people together to make sure that mental health is a priority. I've seen a lot of your seminars and podcasts, and I've attended a few. So you are doing a fantastic job. So anybody who wants to reach out to me, I'm sure if they contact you, they will get to me. So that's all good. And I really appreciate this opportunity that you are giving this importance of matrimony and mental health kind of a combination. So what I'm trying to do on the ground, you're making it just a little bit public. So I really am grateful to you.
Great. Thank you so much, Parulji. And same here. Thank you so much for all the lovely work that you do, not just in Australia, but actually your work's going global, which is why I see that there's a lot of people who recognize you. You've won awards, and people from even the US, UK reach out to you, trusting that there is a right match for them here across the globe. So thank you so much for that. Thank you again for being on my channel for the second time. It's such an honor to be, have you a part of my channel. So thank you so much. And again, all the audience will definitely reach out to you, just not even for matrimony's sake, but just to talk it out and feel if they're going through any matrimonial issues to reach out to you. So thank
All
you.
good. Thank you. Thank you, Uttara.
Thank you. And thank you, everyone. And see you in the next episode.